Live from the studios at Brigham Young University, the award-winning 11 News at Noon starts now.
How two missionaries in South America fought off a would-be robber with his own gun.
Why Democrats are excited about the Republicans' proposal to replace Obamacare.
And how birth control pills affect women's health. I'm Allie Davis.
And I'm Sydney Mercader. Welcome to 11 News at noon. A surveillance camera caught a scary encounter between some missionaries and two attackers in Brazil.
One of the elders from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints used brute strength to defend themselves. 11 News reporter Leanna Tan shows how the missionary defended himself and his companion in a possible life and death situation.
We have confirmation from the LDS Church that this attack did in fact happen in Manaus, Brazil mission. This is something you just don't see every day. The security video starts with two men on a motorcycle riding up to a pair of missionaries in Manaus, Brazil. One hops off, approaches them, and reaches into his belt for a gun. This is when one of the missionaries decides to fight back. He wrestles the gun from his attacker. The other robber jumps into the fight. The missionary throws the gun over a fence and lands a punch on his second attacker. The first would-be robber runs off while the missionary continues to beat his second attacker. At one point, a bystander gets off his motorcycle and tries to break up the fight. It doesn't stop until he's able to pull the robber and missionary apart. The missionary threatens to throw another punch before the suspected robber makes his escape.
He's going after him.
We showed this video to several BYU students who served in Brazil.
I know missionaries who were robbed, every couple of months. Keep all your money off of you or in a separate pocket and just keep $3, just give that to them.
Returned missionaries say encounters like these are not uncommon in Brazil.
Did you see stuff like this?
I actually was robbed, or they attempted to rob me. They walked past me and I had my scripture bag in my hand, and they grabbed my scripture bag and they tried to pry it out of my hand. I shoved it back, but they were half my size, so they didn't pull on me very hard. It just yanked it out of their hand, and then they ran off.
The students say their missionary rulebook told them not to offer resistance in these kinds of encounters.
Do you think that it was good that he did that, or?
It's all reaction-based. It's all instinct.
The LDS Church has not released the name of the missionaries but confirmed that they are safe. An official tells us that they have nothing else to say about this incident.
A Mormon Leaks website attorney has written a fiery response to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints copyright infringement claims. The website's latest document release led LDS leaders to issue a takedown notice. A third-party website attempted to remove the leaked documents, but the Mormon Leaks attorney says it will be difficult for the church to win the battle because of First Amendment rights.
Provo's police chief has announced his retirement. John King says he has family responsibilities to take care of back east. King came to Provo in 2014 after an extensive law career in Maryland. Mayor John Curtis says King had a strong outreach in the community. Curtis hopes to have a new chief within 3 months.
Provo police are investigating a shooting that killed a man overnight. It happened at a home near 400 West and 100 North. Authorities say Gustavo Ramirez's girlfriend took him to the hospital, but he was already dead when they arrived. Police are still searching for the person responsible.
Winter weather is giving the House a break from the heated debates surrounding the new health care bill. Reporter Karen Kafa is in Washington with the latest.
New numbers making the sale of the GOP health care plan tougher. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimating the number of uninsured Americans would climb by 24 million by 2026 under the Republican plan. The Trump administration taking aim at the messenger.
This is exactly what we thought the CBO would come forth with. They're terrible at counting coverage.
Some Hill Republicans critical of the White House criticism and of President Trump for backing a plan that doesn't keep his word.
The 14 million people are losing insurance. I'm concerned within a year relative to where we would be. That's not what President Trump promised.
Speaker Paul Ryan, aides say, plans to keep the bill moving in the House with little to no changes. Staying the course may be the consequence of little room to maneuver. Conservative Republicans don't like the plan's refundable tax credits. Moderate Republicans don't like the phase out of the Medicaid expansion. And the idea of getting help from red state Democrats in the Senate took a hit, with the report's conclusions that older and lower income Americans would feel the most impact.
I have a poor population, I have an elderly population, and I have a horrible addiction problem with opiates. And with that being said, all three of those categories get just devastated.
Democratic leaders say they saw this coming.
Trump care is a wreck. And we all knew that before the Congressional Budget Office released its surprisingly scathing score last night.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The White House and some Republicans have slammed the numbers, while Democrats seem energized by them.
A Utah artist is finding a way to make a difference through tattoos. 11 News reporter Palakiko Chandler has an up-close and personal look on who he's helping.
This artist we talked to in Salt Lake City is using tattoos to help others address their self-harm issues. This is a first for Dana Urias. She is 50 years old.
Do this, but I decided I'm not too old.
Urias is getting a tattoo in memory of a friend who recently committed suicide. She also feels that this is a way to show her love for her family.
People get their tattoos for different reasons. To hide scars from self-harm, to make them feel better about themselves, or in my case, just to put something that's significant to me, my family. Oh, I love it.
Will McCoy has been tattooing for years. He never expected how much his art could impact lives. He says it was not long ago when a client told him her therapist suggested she color on herself rather than cut herself. The client suggested McCoy do self-harm awareness tattoos for people who cut.
You know, I didn't even think about tattoos in that way. I just viewed it as an art form that I really loved. And then
So McCoy tattoos a simple outline of an image for people who consider cutting, to instead color in with the marker.
The ability to do a different image over and over and over, you know, like in different ways, just as a way of calming yourself down.
McCoy has already done several of the self-harm tattoos. He scheduled 4 more just on this day we talked to him. While Urias is not a client getting one, she's satisfied with her new ink.
I'm happy.
McCoy and all the other artists at Resolute Tattoos offer these self-harm awareness tattoos at 1/3 of their usual prices. McCoy also does tattoos to cover up self-harm scars.
The Provo School District says it will not raise property taxes this year. This comes after the state legislature voted to raise individual student funding by 4%. That increase adds $2.5 million to Provo School District's budget. The district also expects to receive more local revenue due to rapid growth. Administrators plan to use the money to increase employees' salary, bring back a student behavior program, and add substitute teachers. BYU Religious Education hosts multiple Passover meals every year. 11 News reporter Sage Smiley has a look at the long-standing tradition.
The third-floor corner of the Wilkinson Center might not look like a very special place, but every spring it's home to one of the largest Jewish celebrations in the western United States.
Left.
Passover is the oldest Jewish holiday. BYU has held a Passover meal, or what's called a Seder service, since the late 1970s. Religion professor Jeffrey Chadwick has been running the Seder for the past 6 years.
The grape juice was really good, the singing was good, I just liked the atmosphere, it was fun. We were singing together and it kind of felt like a big family experience.
Between 700 and 1,000 people attend the Seder each year, including members of the Jewish community in Utah.
We're always happy when we can pass muster with people who grew up Jewish.
Chadwick says BYU Seder is very authentic. In order to help a non-Jewish audience fully understand the service, he pauses to explain the significance of what's happening.
It's like stopping at a rest stop to take a rest for a minute and consider things, and then you get back on the highway with the Jewish tradition.
4 cups of wine, grape juice at BYU, bitter herbs, and unleavened bread are all important elements of the meal. Once participants eat and pray over those symbols,
voila, we have the Passover repast.
Chadwick says BYU Passover is all about rejoicing, having a good time, and learning to make connections between Judaism and Christian beliefs.
BYU will host Passover Seders on the next 2 Fridays. If you'd like to attend a Passover Seder, check back next year. These are sold out.
I might just go to one. When 11 News continues.
It's like something out of a movie.
How this black SUV blazed through a Washington state gas pump and created a movie-like explosion.
Why women are being too selfless and how it's becoming a crisis. We'll be right back.
Birth control is an important part of women's health, but what kind of birth control to use can be a scary and confusing decision to make. 11 News reporter Sarah Martin goes in depth with a look at the side effects many women experience.
headaches,
woman,
moderate cramping pain throughout the day,
after woman,
acne,
after woman.
The worst was depression and anxiety.
Told us about their struggles with birth control. The Center for Disease Control says most women will experience some negative side effects using contraception. Usually their only option is to try a different kind. Men and women have various choices when it comes to birth control. Some are hormone-based, like the pill. Others are non-hormone-based, like the condom. But each choice comes with options and possible reactions. But what's the line between an acceptable and a harmful side effect?
I want kids, just not right now.
Kayla Smith is one of the millions of women who decided to opt for birth control, but it didn't go as she planned.
I started having all these stomach pains.
Smith took birth control shots for 1 year.
I thought maybe I was allergic to something.
She found herself in constant pain.
My birth control was slowly killing me. I was developing early signs of osteoporosis, and I'm only 22.
Doctors say it's time to find a different method when the symptom significantly impacts your quality of life. So University of Utah Associate Professor Dr. Lori Gowron is heading a clinical trial of a new kind of oral medication. This new pill tackles one of the most common life-threatening side effects of birth control, blood clots. Gowron says the estrogen in current pills is processed through the liver. This added strain on the liver is a dangerous option for women with higher risk of blood clots and stroke.
The estrogen that's in the E4 Freedom trial is metabolized differently and so shouldn't have the same effects on the clotting mechanism. And so hopefully we won't see the same risk for blood clots going forward.
Gowron says that the risks associated with birth control can be high, but the power to prevent pregnancy is a powerful tool for women.
There are not only social and economic benefits to a woman deciding timing of pregnancy or number of pregnancies, but also the ability to control pregnancy can affect a woman's health.
Everyone thinks birth control is a one-size-fits-all, and that's actually not true. I feel like birth control is completely different per person.
Physicians say whatever method you decide to use, it's important to work closely with your doctor and do plenty of homework before starting any method. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Sarah Martin, 11 News.
If you're interested in participating in the E4 Freedom clinical trial, you can find more information on our website at 11news.byu.edu.
Anti-abortion activists in Missouri held a Show Me Life Day yesterday. The day was meant to encourage legislators to pass pro-life legislation. Activists say they are trying to save lives and protect women. Hundreds of men and women showed up to the event. One abortion survivor says she came to support the Right to Life event.
My birth mother had an abortion procedure. I was meant to be poisoned in the womb.
The Missouri governor says his budget plan will include more money aimed at abortion clinic alternatives. He also promised to get rid of abortion sanctuary cities. These are cities where abortions are allowed. This comes only a month after legislation passed to make St. Louis a sanctuary city.
Women are living longer, earning less, and falling into financial crises. That was the message at last night's Learn It Financial series at the Provo Library. 11 News reporter Madison Fitzpatrick shows us how some community members are helping women prepare for the future.
An article published in USA Today shows lower wages and higher medical costs are putting retiring women at greater risk for financial ruin. Last night's seminar addressed this.
You take a woman with the same exact qualifications as a man, at the same position, she's earning 80 cents on the dollar.
USA Today says women put the needs and security of others before their own, leaving them with less money for long-term health care. But a series of classes at Provo Library are hoping to change all of that. Event organizers say they want to boost the economy and boost the community by strengthening the position of women. The event covered topics such as financial empowerment, preparing for life events, and avoiding financial pitfalls. The remaining classes will take place the following 2 Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Provo Library.
So did they give any advice on how women can prepare right now?
Yes, the presenters advise women to do their research, get out of debt as quickly as possible, and put 10% of their paycheck into savings.
All right, thanks, Madison. The American public is finally getting a glimpse at President Donald Trump's tax return. The White House issued a statement on Tuesday that Mr. Trump earned more than $150 in income and paid $38 million in taxes in 2005. A White House official says the $38 million was in addition to paying tens of millions of dollars in other taxes such as sales tax and employment tax. Trump had promised to release his returns to the public, but the White House never specified when that would take place. The White House put out the information Tuesday evening ahead of a MSNBC report. The White House also said that the report was a desperate attempt for ratings, especially since it was based on 2 pages of tax returns from over a decade ago.
An Uber driver takes out a gas pump in Washington. A New Mexico church harbors an undocumented immigrant worried about being deported, and the northeastern states take a beating from Winter Storm Stella. This is your look at news from across the nation. This surveillance video shows a car flying through a gas station in a ball of fire. Seattle police say the SUV had an Uber sticker on the back and carried 1 passenger. The driver, a 60-year-old man, came out with no injuries. The passenger, a 40-year-old woman, was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
And be this fireball going through the air as it went into the gas station, into the pumps actually.
But the damage began before the gas station. Police say the Uber SUV had crashed and forced another car off the road. That vehicle collided with a tree, splitting it in half. That driver is now in serious condition at a local hospital. That crash sent the out-of-control SUV into the gas station. After living in the United States for 25 years illegally, a woman in New Mexico is now seeking sanctuary from her church, saying she fears President Trump will strictly enforce immigration laws and deport her. The woman's husband is an American citizen, but she is not. The couple sought sanctuary from an Albuquerque church and say they are touched that they see so many people rallying to support them. Old Man Winter refuses to leave the northeastern states. Snow, sleet, rain, and wind are hitting hard. At one point, 18 million people were under a blizzard warning. The massive storm can be seen from space. Many flights, school days, and train services have been canceled from Virginia up to Maine. Ice is covering the roads, making it extremely slick and icy. Authorities are telling people to stay off the roads. And that's your look at news from across the nation.
Jessica, they say Storm Stella has cleared the Northeast after causing over 1,000 flight cancellations and nearly 3,000 delays. Will Utah have any storms coming up in the near future?
Yes, Sydney, over 3 feet of snow piled in on the northeast coast. Major cities including New York City and Boston were paralyzed. 5 deaths were attributed to this major storm. Good news for Utah is we're in the clear as far as storms are considered. This week is looking to be full of plenty of sunshine and warm spring weather. Beautiful day right now in Provo. Sunny skies. We're looking at 63 degrees right now. So sunny and so warm. We're really starting to feel that heat. 31% for our humidity, so not too high, and those south winds coming in at 4 miles per hour. It's looking to be a beautiful day. As we take a look across the state, we're seeing similar temperatures, lots of warm highs across the state. We've got near record high temperatures in the daytime. Looking across the board, we've got 70s, and it's looking really, really warm. As we head into the evening tonight, in Logan, we'll see partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of rain showers. More clouds down in the eastern portion of the state near Moab, and also a few lighter clouds gathering in St. George. Over the next 5 days, southern Utah is baking in the 80-degree temperatures. Sunny skies tomorrow. Average temperatures for this time of year in St. George are near the 70s, so we're way above average for this time of year. These blazing temperatures are a lot warmer than what we've seen, especially with all that cool weather we had last week. Saturday warms up, getting close to 90 degrees. If you're planning a long weekend, make sure to prepare for those intense UV rays. They'll be out in full force this weekend. Record-breaking temperatures across the state today, 70s along the Wasatch Front. Lots of sunshine today with a few clouds gathering in the evening. The dry air is evaporating all of the moisture in the clouds, so we're looking to be pretty clear from the storm front that's moving in tomorrow. Saturday wind speeds pick up to about 10 miles per hour, but really we're looking at mostly sunny skies through the weekend. Record temperatures and warmth is giving us this luck of the Irish. It's looking to be a beautiful day. You're definitely going to want to plan ahead so you can go outside and experience this warm, beautiful spring weather.
Wow.
That's what I like to hear. I'm headed to St. George for a long weekend, so can't wait.
Yeah, I love this weather. It's perfect for golfing, and I'm all about it, so that's the greatest. So when 11 Sports comes back, March Madness has begun, so don't forget to fill out those brackets. And BYU's journey to win the NIT begins tonight. It's called March Madness for a reason, and Johnny Linehan, BYU's punter, describes his feelings about the NCAA and his own bracket perfectly. He says, looking at my March Madness bracket with 100% confidence, but deep down I know my bracket will be completely busted after the first 3 games. That is what makes March so much fun, the upsets, the close games, the agony, or pure joy when your specific team pulls off the big win. I've got my bracket right here, ready to go, and so can you. ESPN's welcoming all who want to enter their 2017 Men's Basketball Tournament Challenge. And even if you aren't a huge basketball fan, it's worth it because there are opportunities to win big or even just to beat your friends, and bragging rights are important. There will be one grand prize winner who will receive 1 trip for 2 to the 2017 Maui Jim Maui Invitational, which includes round trip airfare for 2, 5 nights hotel accommodations, and $10,000 in Amazon gift cards. You can fill out up to 25 brackets. Just make sure they are done before the round of 64, which starts tomorrow. Last night, Mount St. Mary's took on New Orleans for the first play-in games of the tourney. Early in the second half, Thibodeau with a huge statement. The 2 teams would battle back and forth all night long and puts on a clinic with the spin move and the easy lay-in. With 2.9 seconds left in the game, New Orleans tries a long pass down court, but Mount St. Mary's picks it off and prevails in the end 67-66. They move on in the tournament.
At the end of the day, we all play basketball. You know, it's just the same size ball, same size net. It's just who wants it bad. And Villanova is a great team.
Mount St. Mary's will take on number 1 seeded Villanova tomorrow at 5 p.m. Kansas State and Wake Forest also competed last night for a spot in the tourney. Kansas State's Iwandu led the way with 24 points and this huge throwdown. He put on a show for the Wildcats with another massive dunk, and he wasn't done. Puts the 3 up from deep and nails it. Kansas State wins 95-88, their first NCAA tournament win in 5 years. They will take on Cincinnati Friday at 5:30. The Cougars start their postseason journey tonight as they compete in the NIT at home in the Marriott Center at 9 p.m.
BYU draws the 3 seed. The Cougars, their 2nd straight NIT West Coast Conference. That is a very, very good BYU squad. They will take on the 6th seed, UT Arlington.
The Cougars are looking to win their first NIT championship since 1966. This year's team is young, but they have the potential to make it all the way, especially after beating the number 1 team in the nation. BYU has the confidence to upset any team in the bracket. The matchup to look for tonight is BYU's Eric Mika and UT Arlington's Kevin Hervey. Mika is averaging 20.1 points, 9.2 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and 1.9 blocks per game. On the other side, Hervey is averaging 17.1 points, 8.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.3 blocks per game. It will be fun to watch the 2 bigs go at each other tonight.
Yeah, can't wait to watch our boy Eric Mika.
I know, it'll be an exciting game.
It will be super fun. Are you guys going?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Hey, I need to support those Cougs.
You got to.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. How one store's forward fashion pants are causing confusion.
And that's today's 11 News at noon.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.